more than 100 people are feared dead in a massive landslide in Papua New Guinea. It struck around 600 kilometers north of the capital, Port Moresby, at 3 a.m. local time. Authorities say that 6 remote villages were hit by the landslide and that emergency response teams are assessing the damage. Reuters news agency has published this footage filmed by a community leader in the province of Enga.
As you can see, this is destruction, natural catastrophe that took place last night at 3 o'clock a.m. in the morning. Everyone were fast asleep, not knowing that anything could take place, and they were fast asleep, and all of a sudden natural catastrophe took place, and the place was covered by rocks. As you can see, there are more than 300 lives have been covered, food gardens, the people, the properties worth more than millions guineas have been lost, covered by all these things here. As you can see, this is a landslide that took place last night at 3 o'clock. As you can see, it started right there on top of the mountain. And these are the boys, local boys here. Right now, they are watching what is going on the ground right now. I'm on the ground right now talking to locals here. And from the information that I acquired from the people on the ground, they've just said that more than 300 lives have confirmed covered by the debris and rocks here right now. As you can see right at the back, people are crying and yawning, and people are very mourning for the lives that have been lost. And here there are people standing. Right now, I'm standing on the standing right on the places where incident took place. And this landslide led down further down to where the Live River is. And as you can see right there, people are coming with bags of kaukos from Montagan to Pogra. Right now, as we're speaking, the Pogra mine is stands still right now, and therefore this is a video that I'm taking. This is a natural catastrophe that happened for the first time in the history of our province, and from the information that I acquired from the people on the ground, they've just said that this is something that has never happened before, and is the first of its kind.
Well, I'm joined now by David Petley. He's a geographer and earth scientist at the University of Hull in the UK. Mr. Petley, it's good to have you with us. What is your assessment of the situation there after this landslide, based on the information you've heard?
Well, good afternoon. So this is a very big detachment from the side of the mountain. A massive, probably more than 1 million tons has broken away and turned into literally an avalanche of rock. These are incredibly destructive events, sweeping everything out of their way and burying and destroying villages and farms. This is a relatively rare event, but a particularly serious case.
What do we know about what caused this disaster?
Well, Papua New Guinea is a very landslide-prone country. I mean, partly because it suffers frequent, significant earthquakes, and partly because it has very intense rainfall, and partly a tropical climate. So landslides aren't unusual in this part of the world. This is the 11th fatal landslide in Papua New Guinea in 2024. At the moment, it's not really clear what the particular trigger of this event was. And in fact, for these very big rock avalanches, sometimes there is no trigger event. It is just literally the mountainside breaking down and then collapsing.
Yeah, is that what you would say we're seeing here? Because this is the second massive landslide to hit Papua New Guinea within the past 3 months.
Yes, I mean, there's been a whole series of events this year. I mean, more landslides than we normally see at this time of the year, compared with the last 20 years or so. And now most of those have been associated with very heavy rainfall, and Papua New Guinea has been hit by a repeated series of big rainstorm events. And those big rainstorm events are probably driven by climate change. I mean, essentially a warmer atmosphere contains more moisture. Therefore, we're seeing this increase globally of the most intense rainfall. So that is the overall picture, but it doesn't appear that this particular landslide was triggered by a rainfall event. So it's quite intriguing.
Is there any way, Mr. Petley, that these landslides can be predicted? I mean, is there any way to forecast that a disaster is going to occur?
To a certain degree, yes. I mean, in parts of the world, we know that we can map the areas that are most affected by these landslides, and the first order move people out of the way. And unfortunately, that isn't being done in Papua New Guinea. if you know a particular slope is dangerous, then we can put instruments onto it and monitor it and run an early warning system. But really, the first essence must be to undertake that mapping. And then the other element really is of course this is a population that's very vulnerable because they're not affluent. They have relatively poor sort of national services, medical and such like. And so when these disasters happen, it's very difficult to get assistance and medical aid to people, and that increases the losses.
David Petley of the University of Hull in the UK. Mr. Petley, we appreciate your time and your analysis tonight. Thank you.